Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. I'm so glad you're joining me today because we're not just studying history, we're going full-on time-traveling detectives. We are going to solve the ultimate mystery of our very own ancestors, the earliest people. This is a massive topic for your IGCSEs, but don't worry, we're going to break the whole shebang down step by step.
All right, let's kick things off with a little thought experiment. I want you to imagine waking up tomorrow morning, right? But instead of your cozy bed, it's 10,000 years ago. Oh, and you have absolutely zero modern technology. No smartphones, no grocery stores, no fridge, literally none of the simple machines we rely on every single day. You're just totally out there, relying entirely on your own survival skills and nature. Sounds practically impossible, right? Well, that is exactly the reality our ancient ancestors had to face every single day.
So how exactly did they pull it off? Well, here's our detective notepad for today's explainer. We're going to start with a journey into the past, look at how humans evolved, dig up history's secret clues, check out ancient tools and art, and finally, we'll wrap up by exploring the hunter-gatherer lifestyle. Let's get right into it.
Chapter 1. Journey into the Past. Investigating History.
Okay, to really get this investigation going, there's a super important vocabulary word you've got to know for your exams, and that word is prehistory. Now, prehistory is the period of human history where there are zero written records of any event. No diaries, no books, definitely no text messages. Because nobody was writing anything down back then, scientists, specifically archaeologists, have to rely entirely on physical clues buried deep in the earth to piece together what actually happened.
Now, human prehistory is a huge stretch of time, so historians actually chop it up into 3 successive periods: the Stone Age, the Bronze Age, and the Iron Age. For our investigation today, we're going way back to the very beginning. We're mostly hanging out in the Stone Age, right when humans were literally just starting to figure things out.
Chapter 2. How Humans Evolved. A Gradual Development.
You see, human evolution wasn't an overnight thing. It was this incredibly long process of gradual development that took millions of years. More than 4 million years ago, the very first ape-like ancestors, called hominids, showed up on the scene. Over a massive amount of time, they evolved into a group called Homo erectus, and then eventually into Homo sapiens. And Homo sapiens literally translates to the thinking or wise man. That's the specific group that we modern-day humans evolved from.
And it is absolutely crucial to understand just how massive these physical upgrades were over time. Like early hominids, they couldn't even walk completely upright. They actually lived way up in the treetops or hid deep inside caves. But when they evolved into Homo erectus, it was a total game changer. They could stand erect. Plus, their fingers developed these flexible grips so they could hold things firmly. And because they were standing up straight, they could suddenly travel incredibly long distances.
Speaking of evolution, it is time for a quick detective quiz. Have you ever wondered why we get goosebumps when we're freezing cold or maybe a little scared? It's kind of a weird biological mystery, but the answer is actually tied directly to those very early humans we're talking about right now.
And here is the answer. It's actually an evolutionary leftover reflex. See, millions of years ago, our early ancestors were covered in thick body hair. When they got cold, that hair would literally stand straight up on end to trap air and create this cozy layer of warmth. Now, modern humans have evolved, and we obviously don't have that thick coat of hair anymore, but our bodies kept the reflex. So what we see as goosebumps today is actually a prehistoric survival trick at work.
Chapter 3. History's Secret Clues. Unearthing the Past.
So if there were no books, and we're talking about stuff from millions of years ago, how do we actually know all these facts for sure? Well, we know because of fossils. Fossils are the hardened remains of prehistoric animals and plants. We're talking everything from full skeletons down to just individual teeth. These are the ultimate physical clues. By analyzing the tiny changes in bone structure, scientists who study human evolution, they're called paleoanthropologists, can trace exactly how humankind changed and adapted over time.
Just take a look at this number, 4,400,000. That is the age, in years, of one of the oldest human-like fossils we have ever discovered. Can you even imagine finding a clue that's just been chilling in the dirt for over 4 million years?
That absolutely mind-blowing fossil is famously named Ardi. She was discovered back in 1994 in Arameseth, Ethiopia, by a team led by a scientist named Tim White. And let me tell you, it was an absolute masterclass in detective work. They didn't just stumble on one random bone. By digging super carefully, they found over 100 different pieces of her skeleton,
including parts of her skull, her hands, and her feet. And here's the kicker with Ardi. She had a really small brain, kind of like a chimpanzee, but her skeleton proved that she could walk on 2 legs. This totally shocked the scientific community because it proved that walking upright started way, way earlier than anyone had previously thought.
Chapter 4. Ancient Tools and Art. Survival and Expression. All right, let's take a look at the ancient toolkit. Bones are great because they tell us what early humans looked like, but the things they made with their own 2 hands tell us how they actually lived. And early humans were brilliant problem solvers. Their very first tools were literally just simple pieces of stone. But it didn't take them long to realize that a hard, steel-gray stone called flint was extra special, because it chipped so easily into really sharp shapes. They even started using animal bones. When archaeologists find these tools, they trace them right back to prehistoric times, proving that early humans were actively cutting meat, scraping tree bark, and chopping up fruits and roots just to survive.
But they didn't just leave their tools behind. They left us art, too. Early humans actually used natural pigments from plants to draw these incredible pictures right onto cave walls. And mostly, these cave paintings show people and animals. But this wasn't just them decorating their living rooms, right? It was actual proof. Early humans depended so heavily on animals for their survival, and these ancient paintings show us exactly what kinds of animals were roaming around back then and exactly how they hunted them.
Chapter 5. The Hunter-Gatherer Lifestyle. Life on the move.
You'll often hear early humans called hunter-gatherers, mostly because they were constantly wandering from place to place. But why couldn't they just stay put? Well, there are 4 absolutely crucial reasons. And by the way, this is a perfect list to memorize for your exams. Number 1, they had to follow the migrating animals they hunted. Number 2, plants only bear fruit in certain seasons, so they had to keep moving to find fresh food. Number 3, rivers and lakes dry up all the time, so they were constantly searching for seasonal water. And finally, number 4, once they completely used up the resources in one specific area, they had no choice but to pack up and find a brand new habitat. They were 100% dependent on the rhythms of nature.
Which actually leaves us with one final, kind of huge thought to ponder as our time-traveling investigation wraps up today. Think about it. Do modern humans still depend on nature as much today as those early hunter-gatherers did 10,000 years ago? Sure, we've got all this fancy modern tech, but at the end of the day, where do our resources ultimately come from? It's definitely something to chew on as you keep studying. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this prehistoric investigation. Keep analyzing those clues, keep asking those big questions, and I will catch you in the next explainer.